In this video, we're going to take a look at the basics of animation and video inside of Easy Video Lab. Now, we have the stage up here in the upper left-hand area, and the stage is representing wherever the playback head is. So this is the playback head here. You can see there's a larger kind of yellow area, and then this line represents the exact spot it's at on the timeline. And so if I'm looking at the animation down here, for example, I can click on the controls for an animation here. This is each block is context sensitive, and it will open up the controls for that animation up here in the upper right hand area. So, but my playback head is not showing this text animation right now, because even though I'm looking at its controls, my playback head is not at that point where it's showing that animation yet. You can see that it starts at this point right here. So these blocks represent both the actual information that controls the animation, but also the duration of the animation. Now in some cases, as in this one right here, you can see that this has been set to leave on stage. So even though it only shows this duration, it's actually going to display further past that because of the leave on stage option that is checked on. So again, as I play this here, I can see what's going on. This is called scrubbing. So I'm scrubbing along the timeline here manually. Now what I can do, of course, is I can rewind this and play. You can actually hit the space bar to stop and start the play. There's also a keyboard shortcut, it's Command or Control on Windows, and then the lesser than sign to rewind to the beginning, or greater than sign to go to the end. And again, the space bar will play and then stop. So again, we have these blocks here, and again, this represents where we are on the timeline. Now, in order to adjust and control animations, we have these controls here. They are in sections. This media section is either video or animation. We have simple animations, animation designer, QuickTime MOV overlays. We have layered images, which are usually static. Well, they're always static images. And then we have the controls for video. And those, again, open automatically if you specify or click on a block that's already created. We'll talk about creating new ones here in just a second, but first let's go to the text. We have all the text animations here, and each one has a bunch of controls here. Now you're going to have to specify a font always, so the font option is right next to it. We also have quotes here, and this is really just designed for you to do a keyword search to get some quotes, so you have something to animate with the text animations if you don't have a script or something in mind already. So that's just a convenient way to grab some text if you want. So you can do a keyword search for those. I did the part of the word inspirational and came up with these quotes here. And you can select all or part of the quote, and you can click on them to copy, and you can see here that there's keyboard shortcuts also for that. So again, there's all the text animations, then you have the media animations here. Now let's take a look at creating something or adding a new text animation. Now the playback head, again, this is controlling where things are shown on the screen, but also it will control where if you add a new block. So this is right here on animation layers. There's going to be a little plus button, and that will create a new empty block from which you can apply one of these animations to. And we'll take a look at that in more detail, but I just want to point out that that's what this is for. You can actually overwrite an animation. So if I selected a different text animation, I could overwrite that. A message box will come up warning you that it's going to overwrite, but you can do that. Or, of course, you can start from a new empty block. But once I have a new empty block, I can come to any one of the animations and add an animation. Now you'll need an empty block also if you're going to add something like some from the existing or the assets, or including or importing something. You'll need to have an empty block for that if it's going to be any one of the animations. Videos you can actually just add, they're applied to a separate layer, and so is audio. So you can actually drag and drop onto the stage or import from the library options here. So that's the basics of animating animations inside of Easy Video Lab, and we'll look at each animation in detail in separate videos.